Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom, I'm David Mencer, Israeli government spokesman in the National Public Diplomacy Directorate in the Office of the Prime Minister. It's Thursday, the 31st of October, day 391 of this war. As the Prime Minister said in the Knesset this week, Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis, Shia militias, all directed by Iran, sought to deliver a severe blow to destroy Israel. But we got back on our feet quickly. We did not break up. We did not surrender to the jihadis. We fought back. Make no mistake, said the Prime Minister, we are driving back our enemies. We will win and the world will be a safer place. Our victory will be your victory, whether you realize it or not. Firstly, on the tragic fallen amongst Israel's armed forces, it is with regret that I share with you that since the start of this war, Israel's fallen soldiers have unfortunately risen to 777. Master Sergeant in the reserves Yedidia Bloch was 31 years old and from Mevo Choron. Last week, Master Sergeant Bloch was severely wounded in battle in southern Lebanon, but later succumbed to his injuries. As the Prime Minister said, we do not forget for an instant that all of Israel's hard-won achievements in this war have been thanks to the bravery and the sacrifice of our dear sons and daughters, IDF soldiers, their commanders, policemen and policewomen, their commanders, Shin Bet, and Mossad fighters and their commanders, all the men and women in the security forces. Israelis and decent people the world over are in awe of the spirit of our armed forces. What power, what a generation, what a home front, what a people. Our pain and that of their families is indescribable. As the Prime Minister has said, the loss crushes the heart, a feeling of suffocation fills the throat. The sadness and the longing without end. But this war for our revival demands that we continue to victory. May the memory of our fallen be a blessing forever. Next, on the case against UNRWA, I wanted to share with you our latest assessment. And there's some new material here that we're sharing now. On the UNRWA-Hamas infiltration, Israel has long warned about Hamas infiltration into UNRWA, with UNRWA staff and facilities being used to support their terror activities. Yes, we have shared revelations of UNRWA staff's direct role in the October the 7th massacre. But secondly, on the Hamas operative list, which was ignored, in July 2024, this year, Israel provided UNRWA and the UN with a list of 100 Hamas operatives employed by UNRWA. To this date, no action has been taken. IDF recently killed Mohammed Abu Itiwi. He was listed as a participant on the October 7th massacre. He was a commander at the Nova Festival. The Nova Festival that murdered festival goers, music lovers, people that love to dance. The UN Secretary General condemned his killing rather than addressing Israel's prior warnings. Thirdly, the high-level Hamas UNRWA ties. UNRWA leaders, including Fath Sharif, who was a school principal, head of the Teachers Union in Lebanon, and Ached Muqayyad, who was Education Quality Manager in Gaza. They were also Hamas operatives. UNRWA ignored this, even as Muqayyad posted his support of the October 7th attacks. Next, number 4, the terror infrastructure inside UNRWA sites. Over 32 UNRWA facilities are linked to tunnels, arms depots, and terror activities. UNRWA has not ensured the neutrality of these sites. On the contrary, it has never alerted Israel to any misuse. And number 5, this is the one which shocks me personally the most. The jihadi education that Hamas operatives received at UNRWA schools. Many, as school principals and teachers used UNRWA classrooms to promote hate and violence with no effective oversight from UNRWA to prevent the anti-Semitic and the violent indoctrination. Every evil terrorist that was educated in an UNRWA school, every evil terrorist was educated in an UNRWA school, every single one. Now, if a school in your country produced 40,000 killers, that's the Hamas fighting force, would your government keep these schools open? As for what's next, to those that say that only UNRWA can distribute aid, we say nonsense. UNHCR provides assistance, resettlement and aid to refugees the world over in accordance with international law. The World Health Organization and UNICEF and Red Cross, maybe they could even use it to visit our hostages. They offer health and medical aid and education and operate clinics and hospitals elsewhere in the world. The World Food Programme and the IOM, they also handle food distribution in conflict zones more efficiently, and they provide humanitarian assistance to refugees. UN Habitat and the World Bank, they support city building, shelter, housing, and financial reconstruction. And NGOs and other government agencies administer humanitarian aid and development assistance and support civilian needs in conflict areas the world over. So we say this very, very clearly. UNRWA is part of the past. It's part of the problem. UNRWA members took part in this massacre. Now it's time for the international community, first and foremost the United Nations themselves, to rethink and to do what's right in order to really be of help to Palestinians, instead of just sticking to their former ideas, which were an UNRWA which was infiltrated, taken over, and eventually massively misused by the terrorists of Hamas. And finally, to COGAT and an update of their work getting aid into Gaza. Our humanitarian efforts are continuous and ongoing. Let me give you the latest, as I do every single day. 140 humanitarian aid trucks entered Gaza via the Kerem Shalom and Erez crossings. Trucks arrived from Jordan, from Ashdod, the Israeli port of Ashdod, and from Egypt as well. 35 trucks entered northern Gaza. 60 trucks were collected from the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom by international organizations. But unfortunately, 670 trucks worth of aid are still awaiting collection. This again is another example of UN inefficiency. 7 tankers of fuel and 6 tankers of cooking gas and a tanker of fuel designated for the operation of essential infrastructure have also been transferred into Gaza. A convoy of 20 trucks entered Gaza directly through Gate 96. 12 bakeries are in operation in Gaza, 4 bakeries in northern Gaza and 4 bakeries in southern and central Gaza, producing close to 3 million pita loaves every single day. And the ongoing rotation coordination of humanitarian personnel has been successfully completed, as we regularly update. So we say again, there is no limit on the amount of aid that can enter Gaza. Israel will do everything it can to facilitate the entry of aid into Gaza. So that's the end of our briefing here today. Please put your questions in the chat together with your news outlet. Thank you very much. This question is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Many residents of Lebanon have expressed concern about the safety of archaeological sites near cities like Baalbek, especially as there are ancient Roman ruins included in the area of evacuation. What steps is Israel taking to ensure that important historical sites are protected from harm? Thank you for that question, Joel. I have seen reports of requests to Israel, which Israel has most certainly heard, to ensure that historical sites do not fall within the range of fire. And of course, the IDF will always ensure that that is the case. Ultimately, though, of course, it is Hezbollah the Iranian proxy, which is directing this war against us. They have evacuated. Our latest figures of number of people evacuated from their homes are now down to around 58,000 Israelis evacuated from their homes because of this incessant rocket fire. Let me share with you some of the latest details I have on those figures on Hezbollah rocket fire. For instance, I can share with you, if you just give me a moment, I'll pick that up here. Yeah, I can share with you, for instance, that we've had more than 14,500 rockets fired at us from Hezbollah. We've had 603 wounded. We've had 64 killed. That doesn't include any casualties from this morning's incident, which we'll update you on shortly. And I've mentioned to you the figure of evacuated civilians. And we've had 230 million square meters of land in our north which have been burnt, scorched from Hezbollah rocket fire. And I can also share with you that, as I said before, that our latest figures of displaced people is down to 58,000. Those are the latest figures, 58,000 Israelis that have been evicted from their homes because of this incessant rocket fire. Next question from Joel Pollock. Can I encourage you again to put questions in the chat to other viewers? What is Israel's view of the gas deal from Lebanon in 2002, which was said to be, if you could go back to the question there, said to be an effort to deter Hezbollah from future conflicts? Thank you for that question, Joel. There are lots of lessons from this war. Clearly, the previous ideas that we had in terms of deterring Hamas and also Hezbollah have now proven themselves to have come to an end, and that is why we are taking our strategy, changing our strategy moving forward. But on that idea of strategy, let me share with you, because you've mentioned that issue with Hezbollah, let me share with you, as outlined by the Prime Minister, Israel's long-term strategy, because we hope actually that this long-term strategy will be achieved actually in the near future. We've said to you before that we want to dismantle the axis of evil, to cut off the arms in the south and also in the north, in our north, to exact a heavy price from Iran and its cancerous proxies. But as the Prime Minister has made clear, ultimately we will prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. It remains Israel's central goal. Stopping the Iranian nuclear program is at the forefront of our minds. For obvious reasons, we're not going to share with you all of our plans and actions in this regard, but we are in the midst of an historic change. The Prime Minister has made this clear. This change has two stages. The first stage was when Iran replaced those in the Arab world that refused to recognize Israel or to make peace with us for decades in the Arab world, and pan-Arabism threatened to destroy the state of Israel. And gradually, as we pushed back on that, these tyrants in other Arab countries that used Israel as a distraction from their own failing economies and their own failing leadership in these Arab states, they went down one by one. But as the Prime Minister has said, we made peace with Egypt, we've made peace with Jordan, and then we made peace with 4 other Arab countries in the Abraham Accords. But unfortunately, Iran took the place on this mistaken and erroneous path, and Iran has decided to develop its own empire in which there is no place for the state of Israel. And what does the Iranian threat to the state of Israel consist of? The Prime Minister made clear that it consists of 3 things. It consists of this axis of evil, their stranglehold, their proxies, which are all branches of Iran. It consists of ballistic missiles, and also it consists of Iran's attempt to develop nuclear weapons. So we are taking forward our strategy for the future. We've carried out large-scale attacks on Iran and their proxies, these tentacles of Iran that were supposed to protect Iran. They are crumbling under Israeli action. We've dealt a crushing blow to the regime, but Israel is stronger than before. We are more united than before, and most of all, we are more determined that this land that was attacked a year ago and is continuously attacked, this war is not over. This land will flourish once more, that our innovations will once more amaze the world, that the issues facing humanity will be conquered once more with the help of Israeli ingenuity and, as the Prime Minister has made clear, our determination and what we as a people have shown throughout the ages, our eternity. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So with that, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.